Hey everybody, world peace is coming. For real. One big reason for this is because poverty has been on the decline for decades. Poverty is a root cause of war, so as we keep getting rid of poverty, especially extreme poverty, we will keep seeing a corresponding drop in war. So how goes the struggle against extreme poverty? Well, let's see. If we take the number of people living in extreme poverty, 1.4 billion, and then we multiply it by the cost to raise one person out of extreme poverty, $95 per person per year, it gives us the total annual cost to eliminate extreme poverty, about $133 billion per year. While this may seem like it's a lot of money, it's actually less than 15% of what the world presently spends on war. Yes, for just a fraction of what we waste on war, we could eliminate a root cause that leads us to go to war in the first place. Is this sad? Well, maybe. But it also shows us how a small reduction in war gives us a large increase in peace. The less war we have, the more resources become available to make the world a better place, which in turn decreases the demand for more war. This is one of the factors of the Snowball Effect, which describes the cyclical nature of world improvement. It shows us how any step towards making the world a better place makes it easier for us to take the next step. This means that we can expect to see a constant decrease in poverty around the world, because on the one hand, it will keep getting easier to help people rise out of poverty because of better methods and cheaper technology. And on the other hand, the world will continue to be in a better position to help out those in need. 2008 was a great year to exemplify this. We set an all-time high of $120 billion gathered in development aid. This fact highlights how the world truly is coming together to help out the rest of the world. We are getting closer to where we need to be to end poverty in our world. Of course, the struggle to ending extreme poverty is more than just about money. For one, it takes dedicated work from countless motivated people trying to make the world a better place. On top of this, since extreme poverty is often associated with corrupt governments and dictatorships, overcoming poverty will also require the promotion of other key ingredients like human rights, freedom, democracy, and empowering women. Many of these key ingredients can be found in the UN's Millennium Development Goals, which, if you haven't heard, are targets set forth by a coalition of wealthy nations to improve the world, with goals like cutting in half the number of people living in extreme poverty by 2015. As long as our world keeps coming together, we will be on track to meeting these noble goals. Now, some of you may be thinking, if we already have the resources available right now to eliminate extreme poverty, then how come we haven't done so? Well, while it is true that we indeed have the resources to essentially end global poverty overnight, what we don't yet have is the will to make it happen. Or put differently, we just don't yet have enough people who believe that it's possible. But it most certainly is possible, and this will become increasingly evident over the next few years. Now, in our discussion about addressing poverty, it warrants some mention about how best to apply our efforts. The top-down approach, where huge lump sums go to people at the top, is not always the best method. While favored by big institutions and governments, the top-down approach can actually do more harm than good by propping up evil dictators and perpetuating oppressive regimes, and this just exacerbates the problems of those who live in extreme poverty. As well, many developing countries are shackled with huge debts to places like the IMF and the World Bank, and they often end up spending more servicing their debt than they do on healthcare or education for their own population. And this is what prompts many people to push the idea of forgiving third world debt. So rather than relying on the top-down approach, we can instead look to the ground-up, grassroots approach. Often the best way to alleviate extreme poverty is to build up communities from within, helping people in poverty learn to help themselves. By providing a hand up and not just giving a hand out, people in poverty can gather the tools to become self-sufficient. In the Snowball Effect video, we talked about John and his Moneymaker Plus, which is a device that gives farmers a low-cost way to greatly increase their crop yield. Another simple solution, called microfinance, is fast becoming a proven way to address poverty. Microcredit loans can be used to start small businesses, which helps the world's poorest climb out of poverty by their own bootstraps. Efforts like these, forwarded by people working to improve the world, really shows how each of us has the power to make a difference. And it can be really inspiring to see how with each passing day, our efforts to alleviate poverty will keep getting easier, and the movement towards a better world will continue to gain momentum. Within 10 to 20 years, extreme poverty will be gone forever, and world peace will be right on our doorstep. All of these are rational reasons to be optimistic about the future. So that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and be sure to stay positive.